Yeah, Wednesday. What's up, Wednesday? Welcome to the Hump Day edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. We are going to do what we do, taking a look at the market from an educational perspective, identifying potential breakouts and reversal setups. Yesterday, we had a pretty decent sell-off in the S&P. We had a pretty big sell-off in the NASDAQ, and that was really stemmed by the Chinese markets and the Asian markets really having a big sell-off. We had some pretty big earnings announcements yesterday between Apple uh, and 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 Google and some of the other big ones. And really, those announcements didn't do too much after the bell. So we'll take a look at that. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to get the alerts and the updates. Let's go ahead and dive in with the big picture. So our big picture of the S&P 500, we did have yesterday's sell-off right through here. Now we were looking at this level, this area right in here as a potential reversal point. Um, and this potential reversal point that we had right in here was really based off of this area right through here. And it was an old area of resistance. Old resistance acted as new support. So we had a little small 15-minute level in there. We got just a few ticks below there and have gotten a little bounce out of it. Now I'm a little concerned in that we have yet to put in a new swing high. Remember, we still want to see new swing highs put in, and we were unable to really put in a new swing high as of yet. So I'm going to be very, very cautious about my demand levels until we put in a swing high above this area here. Now, it's not set up for a breakout as of yet, but I do want to see the next thrust get above this swing. And if we get above this swing, then I think all bets are off. We're probably going to continue to go higher, and then you can certainly look for a breakout above the all-time high. The NASDAQ picture is actually much better. We talked yesterday in our live trade room about a potential breakout trade on the NASDAQ, and it sold off hard from that level. I mean, really hard. There were a couple of small 15-minute levels in here that we sliced right through, like the proverbial knife through butter. We did wind up reversing at this little stopping point right in here. Frankly, not a clean enough level for me to consider a great stopping point. But just looking at this blue line was an entry, this red line was a stop, and this green line was our first target. For now, I'm going to remove those lines just because there's a few too many on the chart. But this is still a strong breakout above 15,134. As far as reversals go, we still have to get above the high from yesterday to really love most of our longs. But if you're really looking on a small time frame, then you may be willing to get long on a pop above the Globex high. Now, the Nasdaq's going to be very, very driven by Apple, and Apple in the pre-market is trading down just a little bit. So if we see some sell-off, in the pre-market on Apple. Now, Apple, by the way, their earnings were a bit higher than anticipated. They had record earnings, but they had lower guidance going forward. Google also blew out the quarter with higher than expected ad revenue, and the higher than expected ad revenue helped to drive Google significantly higher in an earnings perspective. But the stock looks like it's going to open about 27.33 by 27.38. So Google will be opening somewhere up in this region here. And that actually, I think, is what's helping to drive us significantly higher in the markets this morning. Microsoft also had big earnings. Going to be opening up at about 289. So Microsoft is going to be opening up just below its all-time high of 290. Well, 289.99. That sounds like something you'd buy on sale. Could we get a breakout above here in Microsoft? We very well could. And those are, those three stocks represent what, 30% of the NASDAQ, 35% of the NASDAQ. So, price getting above here would certainly allow price to continue to run. Looking at crude oil is sitting right at, we came really close to our entry yesterday. This was a confirmation long. So for us, this was not an entry because this was set in as a confirmation long. If you took it on a limit entry, then you got a really nice push out of that zone. We have come up to this 7250 area, which is our breakout line. We were sitting just below there. So if you pop above, and my guess is most of us weren't trading this thing at 4 o'clock in the morning U.S. time, but there is still an opportunity for a long breakout if a pop above the 7251. And then gold is still kind of hovering in between. On our contract rollover, we had a little gap, not a big one, but sometimes you'll see those gaps actually hold for little longs, and there may be a little long out of here after this gap up. But in reality, there's not a lot of trading in here for me on this one unless I do an iron condor around the options positions. So those are my four major markets for today. Let's take a look and see what happens with earnings and how the market reacts to the earnings on some of those big stocks, knowing that our week is not over. We still have more to come. But until tomorrow, everybody, I will talk to you soon. See ya. Hey, thanks for joining us. If you like what we do, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the only way the computers know that you're actually alive and really care. And go to tradersarmy.com today to learn a bit more. And if you want to see some of our other videos, click here in the box.